I remember staying up until roughly 3 in the morning working on that Christmas reef ball polystyrene drawing. Then I went to bed, even though it wasn't finished, because I figured that when I woke up at 7 or 8 in the morning, sometime between then, though more likely towards 7 in the morning, because we had to leave around 8:30 in the morning in order to get there around 10:30 in the morning. I think we actually got there around 11 in the morning to Grandma's place because after I took a shower in the morning, got my marker satchel, and other things I might need in order to finish that Christmas wreath ball. In my case, in order to finish it, I had to trace around all of the things I drew with essentially an ultrafine tip default green Sharpie marker, or dark green, depending on what hue of green is default green. On our way, Mom made a brief stop of 5 or so minutes in order to I believe get some pre-made Christmas-themed meals from Wegmans, of which we had some around We had them around 11:30. In the morning. And then afterwards, I had some milk and cookies, which included a couple of Mom's homemade chocolate chip cookies and one of Grandma's homemade cookies, although the one I picked, I believe, was more towards I would imagine a sugar cookie, but it's not really a sugar cookie because I imagine a sugar cookie as this crunchy thing, and this cookie was soft, but it kind of had the same color of a sugar cookie. Basically, it's best described as like one of those kind of cookies you might buy for a seasonal event like Christmas. So that cookie is either store-bought or homemade, but I'm going to go towards homemade because all of the cookies in that bag were kind of completely different. Though it's hard to tell. At times. I had those cookies and milk. The grandma's cookie, though, was kind of less suitable for milk than mom's homemade chocolate chip cookies, because the grandma's out of grandma's cookies, the one I picked had a whole bunch of frosting and sprinkles on it. So I got sprinkles in the milk. Yeah, but that wasn't a problem. Yeah, but the milk couldn't really get much on the cookie with all the frosting in the way. It was still good, though. I was able to finish all of the tracing around each berry. I didn't feel the need to trace around the pine cones, but I traced around each berry. Streak of lighter green. I'm not sure what hue of green at this point is default green. As well as each streak of brown. I traced around each of the 4 roses that were either purple or pink. And while Mom was at Wegmans, I think around either 8:30 in the morning or 9 in the morning, after I traced around the sunflower, I was able to trace around the ribbon before Mom got back from grocery shopping at Wegmans. When we got to Grandma's place, all I had left to do to complete the polystyrene drawing gift was to just color in the rest of the ball dark / default green. Some of which I completed, starting by going around the sunflower, starting with the area inside of the ribbon, between the bottom of the ribbon and the top of the sunflower, with a streak of lighter green and a streak of brown. And then we took a break of about half an hour or so in order to have Thanksgiving/Christmas lunch with Mom and Grandma. I was given essentially the one with ham, only the veggies consisting of onions and butternut squash essentially were replaced with green beans because that's something I like more than the butternut squash and onions. Excuse me. And I was also given some mashed sweet potato, though that was separate from Wegmans pre-made Christmas meals. I believe each of us were scooped out some mashed sweet potato. I had 1 glass of milk for the pre-made Christmas meal, and then another for the cookies. The Christmas meals were heated in this sort of microwave that kind of looked like an oven to an extent based on how it was designed. And then shortly after that, we went to a group home for those with physical or developmental impairments. To visit one of our family members. I think it was roughly a 20 or so minute drive. And both during the car ride there and during the visit, I managed to finish the polystyrene Christmas wreath ball drawing for Grandma, although she liked how it was when she saw it unfinished when we first got to Grandma's place, because before we had Christmas lunch, Grandma opened the presents that Mom got her. I thought about not bringing initially the polystyrene ball drawing project to our group home visit. Yeah, but then I thought if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to finish it in time. Yeah, before it potentially got dark. Too dark for my, at least my standards of taking a picture of a polystyrene drawing. But the way I positioned the picture, around 2:33 p.m., in order to show what kind of drawing essentially I made, within one day of starting the project. Essentially, it kind of looked like an eyeball to me. That and Mom typically doesn't like to drive in the dark, especially during the winter. Because winter for our area will mean the occasional blizzard or snowstorm. And Mom doesn't like driving in those kind of conditions. These are part of a bag of Tom's nacho rings that Grandma gave me after I asked if I could take the bag home with me, essentially. I had the majority of them on the way back, on the car ride back from Grandma's place. That I think was from roughly 3 to 5 p.m. And I didn't fall asleep either on the car ride to Grandma's place or the car ride back from Grandma's place. During both of those car rides, I made some small talk with my mom. When we got home, we stopped for roughly... We were home for roughly 10 to 20 minutes. Before we had to leave for a karaoke night at Gallows. Since they were starting karaoke at 6 p.m. and it was around 5 p.m. by the time we got home. During the karaoke night at Gallows, which lasted from 6 to roughly 10 p.m., I sang What's Up by Four Non Blondes, then Toes by Zac Brown, and then finally On the Road Again by Willie Nelson. I wrote in a fourth request for Lean On Me by Bill Withers, though the karaoke host wasn't able to get to me during those last few songs around that time. Though I did sing Last Christmas by Wham as part of a group of 4 that essentially consisted of my mom and her friends. This sort of outing, this karaoke night, was in a sort of sense done because it was either the birthday or the birthday of one of Mom's friends was coming up. So there was some gift giving during the karaoke night. And while at Gallows, I ordered the grilled golden ribs with a fuzzy navel cocktail. And the only other alcohol I had that night was a Captain Morgan spiced rum shot. When it was essentially shot time with Mom's friends. It burned somewhat, but not too much, that shot of Captain Morgan spiced rum. And with the grilled golden ribs, I had a side of mashed potatoes with gravy, and it came with either a soup or salad, and I got cheeseburger soup with it. Oh, well, I don't like that re-roll, even though I already had that building. Ultimately, it was kind of a risk to bring that block of polystyrene in that tote bag with some Sharpie markers in it, because during the car ride to Grandma's place, back from Grandma's place to Gallows and back from Gallows, some damage could have come to that block of polystyrene. Weather from it snowing, raining, it mostly rained today. It was just a few degrees too hot for it to snow for most of the day. Or whether some kind of bump or impact against that polystyrene block.